Oh, cool.
I've got a
All
laptop that needs some work. I'll bring it to you.
You mess it up then, huh?
I guess I'll call the meeting of the library trustees to order at 4 p.m. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
I had one suggestion, and that was that email that went out on the Intellectual Freedom Act and the people doing the auditing around libraries. I didn't know if you saw that one, and I know I figured we might want to talk about a little bit about it just to make sure that everyone's prepared. Do you want to add that to the agenda?
We've already been through that
Oh,
last
really?
year.
What
Yep,
happened?
so we're well prepared. So sure, if you'd like to talk about it briefly, we can.
Okay.
Guess that's it. So we'll go to the meetings of the 6/26 meeting. Are there any changes that we need to make? I don't know if the typo was caught on page 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. Pull it down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah.
Future event.
Yep. Friends of Lake Champlain.
Log. Okay, I got it.
In that same bullet. It's written that 6/21, that she'll visit on 6/21 and another person's visiting on 6/25. But our meeting was on 6/26, so we just need to wordsmith it so it doesn't look like. So it looks like they already came instead of she will be visiting the day before.
Oh, I see.
I
So
saw
it
that
wasn't a-
also.
it
Could I
wasn't
make a
future, right?
suggestion on that? For wordsmithing, could we strike, there will also be a visit from, begin the sentence with Hannah Miller,
Okay.
and then, through Johnson campus, add visited, lowercase o, on June 25th. Strike, she will visit the GPL, through, she is on a, and put in front of quest as part of her quest. So to visit every library, to visit, read, write, and knit at every library in the state. So the sentence would read, Hannah Miller, a professor of reading at Vermont State University Johnson campus, visited on June 25th. As part of her quest to visit, read, write, and knit at every library in the state, and GPL is number 92 on her list.
Or was.
Was, thank you. This is minor, the third bullet down on that page, where it says GPL hours, could we strike also, just say GPL hours have been expanded as of 6/11?
Okay.
You want to move?
Is there any?
I have a couple of others. On page 1, number 4, second bullet, where it says with oversight from town offices. Wonder if we could just strike that. Or if we would like to reword it, perhaps so that it reads oversight of the process. And final thought, for me. Number 6, the first bullet, it says, in the middle of that bullet, library director will contact Todd Cadu, Public Works Director, to maintain this area. So Todd already maintains the area, and I'm not sure.
It should be works instead of words.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. I wonder about just striking that, since that's part of what he,
He does anyway.
yeah.
Okay. What was it that we were gonna ask him then about? Or just to keep an eye on the
Mm, I don't know what we were gonna ask him, cause he does,
area? Okay.
yeah.
I remember. I remember.
And other than communication, he gets his direction from the town administrator, right? For the-
I
for the
can't,
building.
I can't speak
Yeah.
to that. Todd and I have a really great working relationship, and whenever I call him and ask him for something, he is top notch. And as are his crew, like they're always. They provide super high quality service in mowing the lawn, and it looks beautiful, and anything they can do to help us, they do.
I didn't realize it was the town that did the lawn. That's great.
Yeah, for one period of time, they contracted that out,
That's what I
but for the last few
remember.
years, I
Okay.
think they're staffed well enough to
Awesome.
do that
That's great.
themselves.
There are no other changes. Can I have a? Can we move to approve the minutes with the changes?
I move we approve the minutes of the last trustees meeting. As amended.
I'll second. Right. Treasurer's
Yeah, we
report.
have to vote.
Oh, I thought we voted. Oh, no, all in favor.
Aye.
Sorry, it's in my head. Then I didn't say it.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass this around to you folks. Here's the financial report as the June 30th, so halfway through the year. Bridget and I have been working on and off with Lori, and that's working out quite well for us.
I did not get one.
Should be plenty.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right.
okay. So Bridget and I have been working with Lori quite successfully, and getting the budget up where it should be. Very pleased right now. We're halfway through the year, and we have 60% of our funds still outstanding, so that's pretty good. We still have a few grant items we need to verify. I have some, if you look on the second page, you'll see some proposing adjusting entries, journal adjusting entries for her to consider. And I'd like to set up a meeting with her next week to go through those. And if we can get those approved or satisfaction, we will finally have our books up to date, which is very exciting. Again, when you look at the individual line items, very encouraged at this point. Again, we're just halfway through, and things can happen between now and December 31, but I think we've got a good basis both to review and then to decide if we need to take any action, how we're going to do that. One of the things that the administrative offices of up above have had problems with where we had grants where there was accounts receivable at the end of the year. And that actually caused some issues. We've got the courier grant for this year. I don't know what happened. It got brought into revenues, so we need to pull that out wherever we put it and give it to us so we can continue to use it. Also, we've got salaries and benefits from the National Libraries of Medicine, and they were paying for salaries and FICA expenses. They also paid for about $4,100 worth of capital equipment and adult books. So that grant should be done, it's finished, and they just need to fix their accounting.
Those are the three adjustments that you had on
Right.
the second page.
Yep. The Winnie Bell Learning Grant, we started to spend that down. So far, $1,069. And finally, like I said, the interlibrary loan, that has been all used up for this year. So from here on out, until we get the new grant award, the general budget will be paying for those interlibrary loan amounts. And then Northwestern Counseling, I'm not sure where the $53 came from. Maybe that's correct, maybe it's not, I don't know, but I'll talk with Lori about that, and maybe we can take a look at that, Bridget, if it's okay. Just to make sure that that is appropriately charged. But, oh, the other revenue, just so you know, I think we got $100 donation during July, so we're now on the plus side.
Aw.
Not bad. Let's keep going. So I'm not sure, like I said, for the most part, we are in great shape budget wise.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please do.
So with these three adjusting entries, this report can be put aside next to Lori's, and it will be
Should be side
side by side.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
okay.
I mean, what's happening right now, yeah, she does not have the, did not have the example, for example, the information on the compensation for the National Library.
Right, okay,
That's
so
a
I see that's
significant
going.
chunk, so
Yeah,
that's gonna go through, and then, like I said, we, actually just to be safe, we had to do it somewhere for the library loan. We just kept putting it against, the grant, but we exceeded that amount, so we needed to take $321 out of the grant for expenses and put it into the general budget. So we did that.
where is that on here? What am I missing?
Number one.
Oh,
It's the very.
He was asking where it was on.
Where is
For
it?
interlibrary loan, that'll be
missing it.
Is it the
057022.30. So look.
Oh, there it
for
is. Got it.
.30, we
Yep.
found it.
Okay. Got it.
Bob, I have a question.
Please.
So we submitted a batch of invoices on 7/18. But those aren't reflected on this, right?
Don't. What was that? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah,
So I'm trying to think.
July 18th. So this is,
I don't know. I
okay,
think you're correct that they should have been processed in July, but they're not gonna show up because this is as of June 30th.
June 30th,
yeah,
right,
June 30th.
okay.
Okay, so this is,
Yeah, and I'm trying to find where the Winnie Bell Learn is. I mean, maybe can talk about this, you and I.
where it is.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was I got a report from Lori, it's a detailed general ledger report where she talked about grant expenses.
Yep.
And it included 1,069 for Winnie Bell.
I'm trying to find where I coded it to be charged against Winnie Bell.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk with her.
Yeah, that's
think we'll have
fine.
to talk about
I'd just like to do that
Yeah.
to make sure we're all on the
That's
same
what we need to
page.
do. Once we get
Yeah.
on the same page, then like Terry was saying, then our books will match up with the town.
That sounds great.
I mean, they are very close.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Not meaning, well, I shouldn't say meaningful, of course, every dollar is meaningful, but I think it is within the area we want to be.
Okay,
And so. we're
so maybe
fine.
next month, I will meet.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay. That would be
Good.
great.
Okay, so any more questions on the budget?
So this was spending to December, that's what's left.
Yes. Mhm.
Do any of these grants go into the new year?
Into 2025? No.
Okay.
We have not been awarded any grants. We will get the interlibrary loan grant from the Department of Libraries. Probably receive the award in September or October. What we've done in the past is defer that revenue to the following fiscal year. So I need to push, and we've always had a really hard time with that. you know,
at
yeah.
the town level.
At the town level, so I think Lori seems to get it, so I think that's very good, so we just need to sit down and figure out how we can do that.
Okay.
To make sure that the funds don't get lost.
Right.
And the other thing is to talk with her about the different grants that we received and to make sure that she's getting the flow of information that she needs so that she can manage the books on her end. And so, you know, I think it's good. But you mentioned, just want to bring up a couple of things though. You mentioned next month. Next month is going to be very busy for Bridget and I. Because we've got a lot of things we've got to work on. And I think the select board is going to start talking budgets and maybe capital planning.
Capital plan for sure.
My problem, and what a great problem to have, I'm going to Portugal for 3.5 weeks in September.
Oh, in
So
September.
somebody's got to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Um,
live
yeah.
vicariously for you for that one.
So,
The select board indicated, or someone on the select board indicated that we would be called in August.
okay. well, good.
So that's why I wanted it here on the agenda so that we could maybe meet in the next week or so to put
Yeah.
down, you know, what our thoughts are. on the
What our
capital budget.
presentation should be.
Yep.
I know, our presentation last year was well received by this select board. And the data that helped them justify that significant increase we got in our budget, much appreciated. So we want to, you know, show them how we're using the monies wisely and well, and providing the services that they're expecting that we would have, you know, just by the mere fact that we're keeping the library open longer now than we
Right.
were
But I
before,
was
so.
talking about the capital budget though.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
we need to come up with some, that's why I had the whole goal thing on here. So when we get to that part
Okay.
of the agenda, we can talk about that a little bit. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Library director's report.
Thanks. So kind of short and sweet this month. Facilities, we did have the additional security camera that we've been discussing for a while installed last Thursday and Friday. Everything went well. We have a monitor in place at the circulation desk so that we can monitor the security cameras that are in place. And a lockdown button was installed so that if there's a situation, we can hit the button and all doors will be locked. So that everything went smoothly as far as I'm concerned, and it's work complete, so that's good news. Personnel, 2 candidates were interviewed and it is still a work in process. Programming, summer reading program is going very, very well. This evening, we have a royal ball. Dress up is encouraged, but as people wish, we have fancy snacks. We're going to be using the punch bowl. There's going to be a mini waltz lesson. So that's just one of the fun things that we're doing. Monday, the kids, we had was 12 kids and quite a few adults. You were here, Sarah, for the fairy houses.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, that was so
Um,
fun.
It was
The
a
kids
great
loved it,
program.
so-
Megan did a great job
Yes,
setting that
they
up.
did.
So anyhow, so far, the summer reading program stats, this is from June 14th through today at 2 p.m. We had 74 kids registered. We offered 70 programs. Program participation was 231 adults and 367 youth. Books reported read, and this is underreported, okay? But books reported read is 487.
And that's only halfway through the summer.
And that's only halfway through, right? And foot traffic, this is for a slightly different period. This is June 1st through 2 p.m. today. We had 1,783 people come through the doors of the library in the last 2 months. So that was 1,061 adults and 722 youth. Super exciting. Yeah, like great staff. Many thanks to of volunteers who are doing a wonderful job. We really couldn't do it without them, and just staff and subs are all great. Things are humming along, and the board support is instrumental in making it possible for this all to happen. So my thanks to the select board, the town office, all the support around us that makes it happen. Yeah, so that's basically what I've got. Were there questions for me?
Oh, just get any grants on the horizon?
There was a grant that came through, I think it was the Vermont Arts Council for $2,000, which is not much as grants go. We happen to have somebody on staff who is an artiste. And so we're having a conversation about whether there might be a small inside project that we could do using that money. I want to make sure that it would be something that, if we get the grant for the big ADA renovation, right? Like, we don't want to tear out something that we
Right.
just, so, yeah. But that's the one that I've heard of.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
yeah.
What's up there?
I'm keeping my eyes open.
Have there been a real influx with Fairfax? With them coming
Yeah,
this
great
way?
question. I would say that we have, I actually think it's picking up, and that's not, I don't have the data to support that necessarily, but that's my perception, is that it's increasing. I'd say we get 2 people signing up to use their home card in this library each day from Fairfax. And then once they're established, right, they come in and it's just scanning the books in their card, right? So, but yeah, as far as Fairfax kids attending our programs, I don't know that that's happened more than a few times, a handful of times. So, but yeah, it's
But
nice.
how long has it like officially been open? It hasn't been that long that it's been like with the flags and so like everyone knows.
Yeah, I
the-
think, it's been a few weeks.
Well, yeah, so it's been, so like I feel like as
Yeah.
people start coming there
Yeah.
more than, I don't know,
Yeah.
I was just curious, yeah,
Yeah.
just anticipating hopeful for growth.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, I think it's great that people are having an occasion to come in and visit us and see what we have to offer. And, you know, they had to be selective about the books that they carried with them to the new location. It's just a fraction of their collection. So, it's nice that people have a larger selection here. Yeah.
So really quick before we move on, those intellectual audits that happened last
Yeah.
year, I don't know if anybody is on the library listserv, but I was getting all of these emails from other libraries saying how it's happened, I think Richmond and Montgomery. They said that they were targeting Franklin County libraries where the Intellectual Freedom Act, so you're allowed to videotape, you're allowed to, in any government building, and libraries are included. And so it's kind of like a warning to the libraries to make sure that their staff is prepared, because the staff isn't allowed to say, no, you can't video. They can say you can't video kids or, you know, what people are taking out. So I'm sure you can speak more to this than.
Yeah, so I actually, that was on the listserv, and there's a lot of talk on listservs, as we know, right? Like, you have to discern like what's the, and what's that you can really take creed in. So, yeah, last year, I believe, it was a First Amendment audit they called, and they were quizzical about things at the library, and I welcomed them with open arms and told them what our hours were, and we would love to see them, and I would love to give them a tour, and they were welcome to do all this and that, and they may not interfere with people's use of the library or with people's privacy. So, you know, I think that my understanding is that these folks who are doing the First Amendment audits have a political agenda and they want to make sure that people are observing the rules. And I know the rules and we went through this once before. I think they were satisfied with what they got from us. What I have heard is that it can be provocative sometimes that folks who are doing the audits, you know, come right up to the line and try and go across it a little bit. And they're testy, right? Like they want to make sure that you know what the rules are, and we know what the rules are. And I think we've been tested and I think we were okay. So that's my,
Well, I'm hoping that if they've gotten yes once,
yeah,
then we'll be off the
yeah,
list
we're
then.
checked off. Oh, right?
If not, we're still
If
here. We're
not,
still
we
above board.
still know what the rules are and everything. I'm not
And our policy
overly worried about it. Yeah,
Policies up to date.
there's no policy. I mean, I will review that is what I should say. I will review that and make sure that we are up to date. However, like it goes back to what the law is, right?
Right. Yeah.
And yeah,
Mhm.
And the library, the Vermont Library Association did have like a whole checklist of, you know, what you can do to prepare and how to
oh, okay.
prepare your employees and protocols and all of that stuff. And I was really impressed by that, but at the same time, it kind of made me scared. I'm like, oh gosh, our poor employees, I don't want them to be like ambushed. But
Yeah.
nope, sounds like you're right on top of it.
Yeah. Thanks. That was a great question. Important to pay attention to.
So you don't have to change any of the policies that we have. Is that like recording from your phone, or is it just
Right. So,
what kind of recording?
so, I mean, if you go on YouTube and you
Okay.
and you search First Amendment audits, like you'll get an education. You know, like the video, do we want to talk about the videos that I saw on YouTube? I'm not sure we want to go there, and that's helpful. Repeat your question for me once again.
Well, don't you have something that they're not supposed to use their phones in the library?
Right. People are supposed to take phone calls out of the library.
But can they use that for recording inside the library?
Well, we take photos of programs and parents take photos of their kids having a great time making fairy houses. And, you know, people will take photos of a book that they want to remember and read later on. And my perception is that we are not at a place where we need to restrict that. I think that people are being respectful and they are living life as citizens and doing things that are not infringing on others' rights. If we get into a place where people start recording inappropriately, like going behind somebody on a computer and saying, hey, what are you looking there? You know, or like trying to record the books that somebody's carrying out of the library, like that's problematic. It's people have a right to their privacy with that. I have not seen any evidence of that. And if that was the case, I would say something to the person, right? So our policies for patron behavior do allow for the library director to, I can't remember exactly how it's worded. It's something like at the discretion of the library director, right? So if in my judgment, someone is stepping over the line, like we can talk about it.
My question, sorry.
Um,
Because I think about the recording of kids or taking pictures of
I was
kids,
too, but-
especially if you've got somebody who's.
but if they're not a parent, you'd know. Like if they weren't a parent who was in the room with their kids and amongst other parents, or if it was somebody from.
It's a fine,
Wouldn't you know?
it's threading
Well,
the
and
needle,
Megan
right?
was
Because
really-
when you're in a public place,
Right,
you
you run the risk.
Do not,
of
you
Yeah.
don't have
being in
an
the background.
expectation of privacy,
It's filtered.
right? If
Oh,
you're
good.
at a concert,
Yeah, right.
somebody can take your picture, right? If you're at a parade, somebody can take your picture.
And I just wanna say that at the Fairy House thing yesterday, Megan was great about going around and getting every single parent's verbal permission before they took any photos or anything like that, so. They knew what they were doing.
And we always ask before we post on social media,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there
that was
are
the thing.
families
Mhm.
who, you know,
Prefer not
for,
to, yeah.
prefer not to, right? Mhm.
Good job.
Old business, EDI training. I was in here, I don't know, several weeks ago when Rob was calibrating or checking the, oh no, that's AED, EDI, sorry.
Alphabet soup.
Yes, right, exactly. EDI training is the training through paychecks. And I don't know if everybody here in the library has done the training.
I did I actually, found the training and suggested it, to folks
Right.
at the town office and on the select board. That was at least a year ago. So no, is the short answer to
Okay.
that question. We have not yet had the opportunity to do that training because we have been fully immersed in our busiest time of the year.
Right.
So, what is gonna work well for us is once summer reading program wraps up, we will have more opportunity and space to
Right,
attend to that.
okay.
And I feel really great about the level of understanding that staff have around EDI issues.
Okay. Great. So maybe by the end of the year, everybody will have had some
For
sort
sure.
of training. on it.
Now for a thought, I
Mhm.
mean, I would see this kind of training as being a great opportunity to get staff together, and maybe we close the library for half a day or something to just address these issues, you know, whether it's EDI or other issues, and you know, it's a way of team building.
Sure,
Yeah.
I think that's great. And this training is, you watch a video on the screen and then you have to take a quiz at the end, like it's an individual thing on the screen. Yeah,
So
I think another way of approaching it would be to get a trainer in for the town, but I think the town has gone this individual direction first, so.
Great. Capital plan, which we're gonna be asked to attend at some point here in August. So I was hoping that whoever's interested might want to meet next week. And after going through the goals for the remaining budget period, we might come up with a plan for our capital plan.
Mhm.
What day is that? Do you know a date?
No,
We don't have to
no,
say.
but I'm really worried they're gonna say, by the way, tomorrow, can you come
Or
in
we
front
need
of
to
her?
come in, yeah.
So I
Cause I'll
want to
take
get
vacation in August.
Yeah, but
Okay.
maybe I mean, if you're interested, we could all meet and put together our plan. Or Bob and Bridget and I can do that. Whatever, but we need to come up with a plan. We need to probably do it maybe next week. I'm just worried they're gonna tell us. You know, we have to be there the next day and we're not gonna be prepared.
Okay.
So I don't know what day might work for everybody, but. Sweet.
Any day but Tuesday.
Oh, shoot, I was gonna say Tuesday's good for me. Wednesday is okay. I have to take my cat to the vet in Waitsfield, bright and early.
Oh, my goodness.
But and then pick her up at the end of the day, but other than that, I'm free in the middle.
Does Wednesday work for everyone or anyone who's interested in
Yes.
coming?
The 7th?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fine for me.
Okay.
What time?
What time?
Yeah.
This time, or, you know, 4 o'clock, does that work or not?
Could we do earlier in the day?
Sure. Like what time?
About 1.
Does that work for everybody?
I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but if it works for everybody else, then that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I will double check. I really, yeah.
That works for me.
1.
And that's on the 7th. Yes. Okay.
So we're just gonna do the capital plan.
That's it.
And if it's a majority of us, do we have to warn it?
Yes. Mhm.
So we need to warn it like tomorrow.
Like that, 48 hours, so.
Oh, for a
Yeah,
special
48,
meeting,
yeah.
48
Yeah.
hours.
Okay, plenty.
Before.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was mixed up.
Okay. Great.
And-
So we'll put 1 o'clock unless something happens, if
Right.
somebody calls or puts a note up. Okay.
Do you want us to come with a list of things we think the library should consider?
I think when we get down to goals for the remaining budget period and beyond, that we'll have, I hope we'll have a list.
Okay.
We'll see what we come up
Are we
with.
gonna have to have though a
Budget?
estimate
Yeah, probably,
That's
of
gonna
what
be tough.
something might
I know.
know?
That's
I
gonna
know,
be tough
yeah.
to pull it all together,
right.
cause I can think of an extensive list. No, you're not gonna adopt them all, but you know,
Well-
it takes time to get bids out.
Yeah.
and to get
Mhm.
that-
Oh, but is that our work? I don't
So
think
there
that's our
lies the
work.
rub. So, in the past, we have developed capital budgets, which included things like an electronic sign for out front. I think that was $16,000 5 years ago when we put it on the list. That's great, but how are we gonna pay for that? Because we don't have reserves that are $15,000 and our reserves are no longer being funded.
Right.
So there are many things that we would like and need, but I guess I lack clarity on whether we build the capital plan to a certain budget or if we build an aspirational capital plan.
In my opinion, we build an aspirational one.
Agreed.
Number one, because we haven't been funded in the past, but should have been, that's an issue. And if we have an aspirational plan, they're gonna have to deal with that.
And do we
That
need
goes
to wanna
down.
further take that plan and divide it out between, library budget items? Like the front desk would be library as opposed to the sign out front.
Yeah, which is a
Which would be a
building.
town
Or a
responsibility.
building response,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
I think that makes good sense.
Yeah.
right. But I think we should be aspirational.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so we'll maybe after we talk about goals, we'll come up with a few more things.
So the agenda for the capital budget committee meeting, call to order, additions,
Mhm.
deletions, capital budget committee meeting, executive
Well, it's not a
session
committee,
needed.
right?
No, it's just a,
It's just a board
Is
meeting.
it is a regular board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. And then adjourn.
A
Anything else
committee
on
would
the
just be two
agenda?
people. So, you can't conduct business. You can certainly discuss and advise, but two people would not constitute a quorum.
Right.
So that's when it becomes a board meeting, when you have a quorum.
Okay. Oh,
So
sorry, I should have, that's Terry's.
I don't know if I have to raise my hand in this talk, I don't know, but so we have a few patrons who are actually unable to open our front door due to various restrictions that they might have mobility wise. I think something that would be a really good priority to have in this budget would be at least like some sort of button or some sort of way for them to be able to get into the library without having to call like our desk every time.
that's my number one,
Like,
my number
Here's what
one
I'm
goal.
concerned about. They go to push the button and then their wheelchair starts backing towards
Sliding
the door.
down.
Well,
Yeah,
that, it would be nice to have a ramp too, but I know that
Well, the
libraries
whole
have been trying
AED
for that
thing is
for
we can't over there
years,
because
so.
of the thing, and so it have to be.
Yeah.
So that's my
But like,
first
there's
goal,
locks on
so
it,
we'll
so
get,
things too.
definitely that's on the list.
The
Right.
second door.
Heard loud and clear.
Yeah,
Um,
Great.
thank you.
on to new business and AED training, which is the defibrillator training.
Yeah, so Cheryl called on Monday and the town has organized an AED, CPR and stop the bleed training with Fairfax Rescue. They're gonna be leading that and it's gonna happen here in the community room of the library.
Oh, great.
I believe on August 13th. So town office staff and library staff will be attending. My staff has been notified and they've committed to being here. So that's terrific.
So can you say the dates again? August 8th, did you say?
No, I believe it's the 13th. It may be no, I'm wrong. Because the 13th is the election. It's the 20th. No, I'm sorry. Gosh, I'll get it right this
It's the
time.
19th.
19th.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a Monday, that's the day that the library is closed.
Right, so, yep, 10 to 2 on the 19th, AED, stop the bleed and CPR.
Great.
And Cheryl asked me to RSVP with how many, so we have just 4 library staff. I'm not sure if the town is paying by the number of people who attend or how that works, but yeah, so that'll be great. And
Good.
it'll be a good opportunity to get together with the town office staff
Mhm.
also, right? I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. So maybe we'll do a potluck.
Oh,
Yeah, it could be fun. So, yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we're doing this. It's been a work in progress for a while to get that AED and then to get training on it. And when Rob was here a couple of weeks ago, he's gonna be checking them regularly and making sure that they're fully working like they should be. So that's terrific.
You still are storing it underneath, right?
We are. Cheryl was gonna send me what they have for mounting
Okay.
theirs. She said it wasn't expensive, so yeah,
Okay.
I'd love to see it and see if we can mount it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
That's the one, where did I put that thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You wanna know where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right to it.
Mhm.
I think I interpreted a conversation with Bridget and said procedures and not policies.
It's okay. They're closely aligned, right?
They are, but
So,
not really.
So, policies. As part of Act 150 S 220, youth who are age 12 and over have full confidentiality regarding what they're reading and information that can go out about that. So I'm in the process of gathering data from some of my colleagues about how they are approaching this procedurally, and policy wise. So, it's a work in progress. What we are currently doing is asking kiddos when their birthday is, and
Mhm.
we're inputting that into our, library card system so that we can keep good track of that. And we are,
Does Koha have a flag thing where you can flag kids at a certain, like?
yeah,
hits
it
a
will
certain
bump
age,
them up
bumps
to
it
adult
to-
when they hit 12, so that's good. And so here's the local flavor on this. We, every 2 years, are required to update patron records. And at the same time, we issue new library cards to indicate that their records have been updated, right? So I want to do this all as part of the same process instead of recreating, right? Like doing it twice. I want to do it once. I want to do it right. And in the meantime, we're gathering the information about when kids' birthdays are. I take it very seriously and we are all very well aware of patron confidentiality and we're very careful about divulging information about what folks have checked out before this was put into effect. So, I feel like we have it well in hand and it's a work in progress. So that's that. that's my priority. We also, as you all know, one of the trustees' primary foci is, updating Georgia Public Library procedures. So this is a work in progress also, and, a couple of years ago, I went through the policies and I coded them green, yellow, and red. So green is, it's fine, yellow is, red is, we need to pay attention to this and revise it. So, I'm going back through them again to update the green, yellow, and red. And I have some notes about why it's falling short. And we also need, like, we can't, I don't think it makes sense to go through and do them chronologically. I think that we want to prioritize what's most pressing. So, if you will give me another month or so, I would be happy to. We will be prioritizing Act 150 if it pleases the board. And, I would like to make some recommendations about other policies that we should prioritize, and let's have a conversation, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what is it that you think we should prioritize, and where are you noticing that we're a little behind the times on things? So
Great.
that's what I'm thinking. And sorry if this is overstating the obvious, but, so policies, as I understand it, are the governing rules of the
Mhm.
library, right?
Mhm.
And procedures are the how-to.
Yeah,
So
step by step.
most procedures are,
In-house.
in-house. It's how
the
we
policies
sign
that
somebody up for a home card, or,
Right.
where there's overlap is in overdue library books, right? And I'm not sure if that belongs in policies or procedures, like, let's think about that a little bit, right? So, so anyhow, just
Mhm.
not to get too pithy, but.
Is there a central place, where is it on the website? I haven't looked.
Yeah,
recently
it's
as
on the
far as-
website.
So all policies are there,
Right.
so like we can prep
Yes.
for next month
Yes.
to be able to
Yes.
give our.
Yes. And if it's helpful, let me know. I'm happy to print them out from the website and give you a paper copy too.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
let me know and we'll get it ready for you.
I probably should have said this in the beginning, but I had a couple little things from old business that I was supposed to be contacting the town about, and that I should report.
Okay.
Um, one of the things was a list of vendors. When we ended up with the water problem, we thought maybe a list of vendors would be great. They're still putting it together. We asked for permission to call a vendor if no one is available to help us on the board or in the town level. I don't think we got that. And I'm asking about it again.
Okay, so.
Yeah, it's all been asked for again.
That one's still pending.
Yep.
Okay. But which makes sense if they're still looking for vendors. And
No,
I'm sure they
it's
wanna
mostly
provide-
vendors that they already have, but
Already
which
have,
are the
but
ones that
yeah.
pertain here
Right.
that we
And
would need to
sharing
call
that.
and sharing.
Yeah.
But also the permission to use it,
Mhm.
I think is important.
Yeah.
We asked about HR, or I asked about HR in the meeting, and there's no word yet. I guess they're looking at other towns and who, who they use.
Mhm.
And they will get back to me. And then the hazardous materials policy. I don't know where to go with this. No. I guess, from what I understand, I just sent Cheryl email again today. The policy they have at the town level is the one we all should use. That's what I was wondering. But could I get it? Could I get the policy? So I still have not been told whether or not there's a copy of that available, because And at the same time, if it is a town-wide policy,
Everyone should have it.
everyone should have it, we want it in our book. Do names need to be changed? Like, if it's here at the library, is the director responsible for the book, the policy, the whole thing? Or is it the town level? But we can't seem to get an answer to that, so I sent another email today.
In the meantime, I suggest that you follow the draft that the town has not approved, but that you put together, Deb, because that was a really nice piece of work. And that'll at least protect the staff. And until we get final word from the town, we've got something that we can rely on.
The only thing is we don't have some of those things filled in. We
Right.
haven't said yes or
Right.
no on some of those.
Correct.
But it's still a start. It's better
Yeah.
than not having anything at all.
But you know, so my ask was, do we need to have our own, or do we go, and then we have a path forward, but we don't have a path right now. So,
Does the town have their policies online in the same way that the Georgia Public Library does?
no, because I looked for their policy.
I was
today.
gonna
I
say,
didn't see it
I was gonna say, like,
either.
that feels like something that, like, you know, this day and age, they try to put so many other things online, like,
Yeah.
be something nice for the town to have, but.
Yeah.
Wrong place, I suppose, to encourage that.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully, maybe when I get home, I'll have an answer. I don't know.
Well, as far as I know, it is supposed to be public information. It's supposed to be readily available.
Yeah.
Right.
And that book is supposed to be available.
Available, yeah,
So-
out in front.
If it's not, there's an issue.
I saw the book,
Yep.
didn't see the policy. So
Yeah.
there, that's where we are at this point.
Yeah, okay.
So those are my updates for you guys. Do you want to move into goals for the remaining budget period and beyond?
And beyond.
I'm gonna read you my goals. I have 5. I know I said come with 3, but I couldn't stop once I got started. And I don't know that they're library versus, capital budget versus library budget. I do know some. So an ADA compliant entryway into the building. A larger circulation desk with two places.
Workstations.
Personally, I would love to see the walls painted. I'd love to see windows decorate, I would love to see some color and some interest surrounding me when I come into the library. A new sign out front, because as Bridget told me, the lights aren't working on it. It's,
Sarah, how many times have you heard that?
and also, it's one of those signs where you have to go change the letters, right? How do you, I don't know,
You change it letter by letter and you write it all out
Yeah,
and make sure
yeah.
you have all the letters. and
What
you stack
year
them up
are
and
we
you print
in?
them out and put them up.
Trudging through the
So
snow
much fun
6
in the
months
winter,
out of
yeah.
the year. Sarah and Jeremy have both done that numerous times.
and additional employees
Mhm.
to get us to the number that, for a town of whatever we are, 6,500 people seems smart. And also the guideline by the state says you should have, so
Mhm.
there we go. Anybody else wanna?
Well, I think the budget flows a lot from, so how many employees do we have to meet the need?
Right.
What are our hours going to look like, so that we're as accessible as as we can be? And then getting the information out, like the electronic sign up front, because it's not just a library, I mean, we could put town activities as well.
So we all or somebody suggested it, and it was relayed that if there's a sign on the northern end of the town, that makes sense. But this is not the southern end if you live south of here and get on the interstate.
But you can't cover everybody, there are also
I know,
people
I
who
understand.
are on Lake Road and.
Right.
And
go
go out
down-
through
I understand.
go out,
I got all that, but
It's clearly marked, clearly identified.
they know where to
purpose.
look,
They know where to look.
right?
But when you
So-
get out the interstate, instead of going towards.
Come to the
down south,
library.
Come to the library, read the sign, and then,
What a concept.
yeah, we can't cover everybody, but we can try to distribute the signs.
Right.
as
Yeah,
best
it
as
is
we can.
nice. We are right by the highway. I think
Yeah.
we get a lot of,
And I
even if
also,
it's not everybody, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, it
Also the-
says something, right? Like it says that the library is a valued part of town and that we are a unit. We are a community. The library is part of that community.
And I don't remember if it was Carl, but you know, that thought that an old timey look would be better than something modern. Based on
See,
our
I'm thinking
town.
white, flat trim.
I know,
and
I
just
just-
top.
It doesn't, I don't think it
Yeah.
matters, but if you put some bids out and you say we need something. More in line with,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's colonial, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure people can come up with something.
Yeah.
And my daughter did, she does signs.
Just a couple other things, we want to look at hours, so it matches up with need. But also want to make sure that we are as competitive as we can't be. With payroll, with
Mhm.
compensation.
Yeah.
I mean, right now. We're paying people less than you can get working at McDonald's. I'm not disparaging McDonald's, they are who they are, this is their corporate model. But golly, we should be paying people a decent
I
amount.
agree. And those are all guidelines at the state, the
Mhm.
state level, so
Mhm.
we're barely meeting that.
Yeah.
We're not meeting that
We're
in
not
most
meeting.
cases.
And maybe it would make sense also to put the select board on notice that, if we do need an assistant librarian to help help Bridget manage the property here. And, if that's done, when we hit, I think it's 30 hours, then you trip fringe benefits. So we'd have to provide fringe benefits to that person, but we just need to let them know Georgia's growing. We're adding people and the library needs to grow to meet that need.
Yeah.
And that's gonna cost a little bit of money.
But is that comes when we do it, at budget time
budget time,
versus
that's right, yes.
competitive.
I
or-
thought we were doing both. Okay.
No, we definitely can,
Okay.
but
okay.
this way we have a list that we
Right.
can
Mhm.
look at when
Yeah.
we're doing capital budget.
Well, and actually that going with the assistant librarian kind of goes into what I was thinking. So my big thing is, and ever since what Bridget did mention, like a teen center, you have the kids who come off the buses for the high schools. It would really bring in more if we had maybe an assistant librarian who was focused on teens. And the one thing, and I know everybody says there's nothing for teens to do here, but I think it's especially important because so many of the kids go off to different high schools
Mhm.
that there's really no opportunities to get those 9th through 12th graders in the door so that they can actually mix with the people in their community that they
Used to
won't
know back in
see.
8th grade, but haven't seen.
Haven't
because they
seen.
go to a
Right,
different high
yeah.
school. Yeah.
And I know once a month, only during the school year, the churches at the Jimmy Center come together.
They have teen nights.
Yeah, for
and
teen
stuff.
night.
Oh, yeah.
And that is so well attended. I know this because I dropped my son off. And now my daughter's gonna be in 7th grade. She's like, I can't wait to go. And so I just think more opportunities where, and this
To
is something
appeal to
in our
more
old
kids.
community, I still get all the Instagram posts.
Mhm.
They have a teen advisory board.
Mm.
So essentially getting a few kids from the community to kind of create their own program. So it's not us dictating or the librarians dictating or having to put on these things, but it's actually the teams creating the opportunities. And that they're doing way different things than we would think of, like a craft thing. Oh, no, let's have a podcasting class or, things that they're interested in.
Mhm.
So not only is it an opportunity, or I don't know, do we already do things for teens like ACT and SAT prep classes? Or even those like, not career fairs, but how you can like talk to, and this might be right up your alley too, any of that career planning so that or even college, things like that, applications, how to write a great college application essay, things like that,
Well,
that-
AI, of course.
Can you just imagine? It's probably a terrible
That's-
job right
that-
now.
yeah.
It's a really great opportunity for like people that have gone off to college that are back in their town. They're like for like vacation.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, I loved the library when I was here in high school. What if I could go back to that program and like explain my process?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
That would be
I
cool.
just think like more opportunities so not only are they learning something that's of interest to them, but they're also getting together with some of the community kids. So I really,
Right.
and I
I
know this
know-
might be more not capital plan,
Right,
but
right,
if
that's fine.
there's, of course, we don't want to overburden Bridget with yet another thing she has to do, but that assistant librarian coming in could be, since we've got the little kids reading program down pat.
Yeah,
Something, yeah, something for the older kids.
and it's so hard, like, just speaking from our experience, it's so hard to even get teens to walk in the door. Like even, I feel like even sometimes if they're taking part in the planning. But like anything that we can do to spark that interest or keep that interest going. Would be.
With the swing movie license, are we allowed to have outdoor movies?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
We do have kids who are dropped off by bus from South Burlington and Essex every day here. And, let's remember that teens don't always want to hang out with adults or even speak to adults. Like,
Right.
we work really hard, Jeremy and Sarah, you both know this, right? Like, they walk through the door and we say, hey, how was your day? How's it going? Like, there's coffee and tea and cocoa. Do you need something to drink? Right? Like, we used to have snacks that we used to pass around and like, and like, we tried to get them to like exchange 3 words with us, and my kids are around that age, like, I know how it is, like,
But what if we could pull from some young college age base?
well, and we have staff currently who
That
are,
younger
yes.
and- Yeah.
So, no, I think it's a really important idea, and I think we have folks, right, the kids are coming here, so it's a matter of figuring out how, and also respectfully, like, social stuff is exhausting in school.
Mhm.
And they're like, kids are doing all these AP classes, like, they're tired. Like, sometimes they want to come here and they just want to chill. They want to be on their
But so
phone,
that's the
playing a
thing.
game, listening to music.
There's not a great
And how do
space
we,
for that
like,
chill.
how do we,
So capital
right,
plan teen room.
to get a
or
teen
whatever,
room,
yeah.
right, or
We
like,
have a room,
is,
you know.
do they wanna do craft, like what craft do they wanna do, you know, like,
Or
or they
just
wanna
having a bunch
dance?
of like
That
passive
advisory committee
opportunities or
Like you
whatever.
mentioned, I think would be invaluable.
Like,
What's that?
Advisory committee,
Yeah, teen advisory board,
Yeah.
yeah. I
that
think
would be
that
really helpful.
Pipe dreams.
Good idea, I like it.
You gonna say something?
yeah, I was gonna say, we've got all those like the comfortable chairs over like where the magazines used to be, where the cookbooks are now.
Mhm.
And like those chairs, like the students will go and like hang out in those chairs. Like another draw for them could be like if we got like some sort of like really nice extension cord out there with like chargers for iPhones and other like phones out there, so they can sit there comfortably, not having to worry about their phone battery after an entire day of school.
Mhm.
You know, maybe it's not a huge like draw to like come to the library from the home, but maybe it's enough to bring them inside of the
Inside.
library from outdoors.
Mhm.
And I just
Some
wonder
sort of
how much
charging
we,
station.
Yeah.
how much we use that back room now. And could that be used as a type of teen room or?
Always.
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
want the teens to be in the back room unsupervised,
Leave the door open.
What's beyond that?
mm,
I used to be a teen once.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
agree, like having some kind of comfy open space that's geared more towards them.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that- Yeah.
And that's very on trend right now, like,
Mhm.
that's what libraries are doing, they're setting up a lot of booths, a lot of high tables, right, like small,
Mhm.
high
Oh,
cafe
yeah,
tables.
yeah.
Yeah,
You can just get a
um,
perch and.
or like booths, right, like
Yeah.
Right, what did you say?
booths.
Like,
booths.
I was thinking something.
Do they use these computers at all, or do they use their own?
They use
Because
their
get them
own,
from-
they've all
from
got
school,
a
so you need
laptop or.
just the tables
Like a
or.
charging
Mhm,
station.
a
Yeah.
place,
Mhm.
right, like a place that looks.
I can imagine like
inviting
a
and-
table by
yeah.
the window, like a high cafe table by the window with some charging.
Well,
Right on the
Exactly.
wall. You'd have to do some moving around. I mean, but.
We can move furniture.
Yeah,
Big
no,
thumbs
yeah,
up from Megan.
They're all for it.
Yeah, no, I
We
think
could do
it'd
a
be
survey
awesome.
for the, young ones.
Yeah, teen survey.
Yeah. Yeah,
One idea that I had, if we could segue, is back to outreach, which we used to have pre-pandemic, just in terms of I just remember the daycare bags, but just also other public outreach, like how cool would it be if we had the capacity to have like a trunk at Trunk or Treat, or a presence at the Gathering on the Green for signing up library cards, or a free book table, or I just feel like there's so many opportunities for outreach if we had the manpower.
Right,
Mhm.
that's what it was.
Well, I know what it, but I mean,
Yeah.
this is our dream list, right? So.
That's,
Yeah.
Like,
For
like
sure.
Maple Fest, Fall Fest, that sort of stuff.
Right,
Grab a
having a
trunk, get a
library.
laptop that's connected to the Wi-Fi, check in and out books right there even.
yeah,
Mm.
it can be done. We can sign people up for library cards remotely.
If you get a pickup truck, you can bring like entire bookshelves with you.
Mhm.
Like if
Or I
there's
mean, like if
stuff
you
like
have
that.
an inundation of free books, you could have a free book table.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
this is sponsored by the library, you know, just
Mhm.
for visualize, you know,
For
just
sure.
for, what's the right word? Visibility, thank you.
Mhm.
So that was my one idea. Also Small Potatoes, website update stuff. There's a lot,
My
just
fault,
some,
too.
I know there's a lot going on, but just various website updates, just, that's always the place I wanna look for first. For information is, oh, I bet that's on the website, and then sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but.
Will you send me an email with the things you notice that need to be updated on the website? Cause I think sometimes I'm on there several times a day and I get a little blind to it, you know? So, yeah, no, but please, if you see things, let me know and we
Definitely.
can take care of it.
So, I mean, the other thing, I think, we've talked about this before, but, need to, I think within this year's budget, there's $30,000 for installation of, aerial, not aerial rugs, but,
Yep,
carpet,
33,000.
the flooring.
33,000. And so where is that? Like, I mean.
And so we were
here's
talking
a
about
list
That's a
of
good
things we'd
question
like,
to
so here's
ask,
things
right,
that the
like
town has offered to do.
Yep, where
And,
is
you
the,
know,
I think we're waiting until we hear back on that big ADA grant.
And what's the timeline on that? I can never remember.
Well, originally, we were told early summer, late spring. And
Well,
then,
first we're told late April.
right,
It was late. yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and it's an enormous undertaking. The state Department of Libraries had to hire staff to do the work, then getting folks up to speed, like I know. And this is going back 4 to 6 weeks that the applications had gone through the first and maybe the second step, the second readings, and then they were going on to the next. So, still
just a
pending. I haven't
process.
heard an update yet. I can ask, but I'm sure
just
everybody is,
Yeah, sure,
you
everyone
know,
wants to know,
so.
yeah. Any
um,
other? Excuse me.
I didn't hear anything from you.
No, because that's why I was talking to her, the ADA compliant was the big one on mine, as well as, the website update, the circulation desk.
As far as, I just want to clarify website update. Do you mean
Yeah,
like
just keeping
timely?
keeping it
Yeah.
up to date and
Yeah.
putting extra things on there or something to make it,
Grab you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
grab you and. Because that's where I go to look. If I'm going to look for anything for the town or whatever, I look up the website. And then it's like,
One thing-
okay, what's
I
on?
think that's a great idea, and I'm wondering if we could ask the town to also put little blurbs on, you know, how they put, your dog licenses are due or whatever. Could,
Royal Ball.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to be more a part
Yeah.
of the town
Of-
is good,
yeah.
so we do
Right.
feel like one instead of separate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you can go to one place and look and find what you're looking for.
right.
I'd love to hear from Jeremy.
Look what the kids think,
So one thing that I have always wanted to see this library have, that is way more of a want than a need, has been a 3D printer and the knowledge and ability to print things on that 3D printer. like the possibilities for that for children's programs, but for
Endless.
teenagers, but and for
Literally
like
endless.
even for adults, if they need to like 3D print something, like you can do a lot of things with that.
You're
And I've always
talking a
thought that'd
big,
be.
huge expense.
There are
So-
grants though.
There are,
Yeah,
Regularly.
and they're not new anymore as well, 3D printers, so if
Right,
there was
they'll
like an
go
old
down.
model that was up for sale,
Yeah.
it's a lot less than it used to be, like.
What a great idea.
so I'm just inserting this, and I'm not trying to volunteer him. Cause he's volunteered for too many things. I just know that pre-pandemic, Frank, who's on the board over at the Jimmy Center, was trying to get a program going to teach people how to use 3D printers, and he was
Mhm.
talking to my husband about it as far as like. And there must have been some sort of grant money where they were gonna get like each participant like a small 3D print, like there was some, he
Yeah.
had like some big program in mind, and then the pandemic hit and then nothing happened, so I don't know. If that's a partnership that he would be willing to do again, or if the Jimmy Center specifically, but I think that's I think that's an amazing idea. I just wanna put my support in there.
Well, I'm thinking about the resources for it though, too. I mean, you're still talking about having to have something that you're 3D printing with. So.
Yeah, I have no
Right.
idea about the cost
It's
of that.
gonna-
Yeah.
That's like the units,
It's gonna
the
cost.
plastic,
Yeah,
the
materials.
software,
Yeah,
and
Right,
then the
and it's-
person
it's
who
all,
runs it.
it's all way over my head.
Yeah, and are
Yeah.
you paying for that or are they paying for that? Cause that's.
Yeah.
That could be really,
That could
really
be a
expensive.
No, it would definitely, it would be a lot of logistics and a lot of expenses upright, and then like probably a fixed expense long term as well,
And then how do you keep the kids away from that?
right?
Well,
It's definitely.
good
things to
problem to
consider,
have,
yeah.
yeah.
So aspirationally,
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah, I think we've talked about this for quite a few years, but like another like dreamy idea would be to have a maker space and
Oh,
have
wonderful.
all the things, right?
Mhm.
Like have sewing machines, have a 3D printer, have
Drill,
a drill, like a Dremel that you could etch
screwdrivers,
things
yeah.
with, like
Wood burner.
like this, the
Sorry.
steam, like
Have you thought about this?
little electronic bugs and whatever, you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Robobugs,
Yeah, the
hex
hex
bugs,
bugs
yeah.
and like the circuit stuff and,
Mhm.
Legos could go there, like it could be, and then it could be pottery, right? Like,
Right, you need a
like-
bigger library.
Well,
well,
that
we
was gonna-
have a bigger
We have-
library, Debbie, we
You
have
could put that as the
space
capital.
in the food shelf.
Give
But-
them
but I-
That
access to
the
the
food shelf was in a different location, like the old town garage, which was discussed.
So yeah,
But
that whole
I
warehouse.
think there's a
space.
Zamboni there right now.
Weird.
Plus
Wonder where that
food,
came
plus
from.
food in an old garage that also had, probably some.
Yeah, there were some issues, but
Yeah.
pipe dream
I'm putting it down.
is, that
Well,
would be amazing.
move the
to have.
food
Teen
shelves.
center maker space.
Yeah.
How cool would that
So-
be?
I mean, somebody mentioned before that then begs the question, so what space do we use? I don't know when the last time was, or if we ever did hired someone to come in and analyze this space and look at, are we using this space in the most efficient way
Mhm.
and cost-effective way that we can? There may be things that, even just like, for example, shelving right now, I don't know, they're like 6 feet apart. Can we bring them into 5 feet or something and create extra space that can be used for something
Well,
else?
some of that's ADA,
ADA.
but I
yeah,
see what
but
you're
yeah,
saying
yeah,
as
yeah.
far as making sure we're using this space.
As efficiently as we.
I think that's a great idea.
Cause honestly, that space where the chairs are, there is that kind of open space
Mhm.
before that back hallway where. If someone had the feng shui that I don't have, could we turn that space into something? I don't know.
Great idea. I have some ideas. So ADA is number 1 on my list. Staffing, getting up to 2 full-time staff. Electricity. We have very few outlets in this library.
Mhm.
Just yesterday, there was an older gentleman who came in and wanted to use his laptop. And I showed him where our friend has her office that she uses. And he's like, there's nowhere for me to put my laptop when and I was like, you're right, I'm so sorry, like,
Again, it's
here's
tables,
this,
desks.
like, we have the extra wide, computer. But like, so Quinn had to crawl under there and plug in his laptop for him, you know, like. We need more electrical outlets. It hasn't been upgraded in many years and it's important for folks.
Yeah.
So that, ADA, I said staffing, and then this wouldn't cost any money.
Oh, well,
Oh,
let's
forget
put
it.
that on.
No, here's
Can't be
what
working
wouldn't
it.
cost any money.
Right.
I would like improved communication and shared vision among the library director, the trustees, and the select board, and the town office staff. I'd like us all to spend a little time together in a retreat of some sort. Maybe it's a 2-hour meeting, right? Or maybe it's a day, or maybe it's a few days, but like get together and think about where we want to go. Like, if we're gonna build the best darn library that meets the needs and wants of the people of Georgia, what does that look like? And what does it include? And then let's break it down. And what are the steps to get there? And what costs a lot of money and what doesn't cost any money, right? So, but just to get on the same page and be working together towards a common goal.
It's in a new library. You get rid of all the stuff. Yeah, and you know, because I think more space would be good, because then you could have a children's room and you could have a teen room and, you know, a community room for, you know, things to do together and, along with all the books, and to have the extra USB plugins and stuff like that. It's a new library if they can't get this building up and going and expand on it. I mean, that's my thoughts, because
Well,
we,
yeah,
you know,
if we don't get the grant to do, you know, the full grant, which would make us ADA compliant, would put in the electrical outlets, you know, I know there's gradations of the grant that we could get. When you're talking about ADA compliance for this library,
it's huge.
it's huge.
Plus, it's huge, it's gonna take up a lot of space.
Yep, it's huge.
And it should, but,
Right,
you know, now we've just lost the ability to serve a certain segment of the population or as many people, and that's certainly not where we'd like to go.
And we are an aging population, like we are all gonna
Yeah.
get there, and we are all gonna need
with you.
ADA at one point in our lives.
And I'm surprised they haven't had electric doors for the bathrooms, so that they could push a button and be able to get in and out without trying to hold the door while you're trying to get in.
Oh, that's on the list.
You know,
Well, it's all
secret-
ADA, it's all,
Okay.
it's all.
And when I knew this when I broke my ankle, it's like things came into view that I never knew before, like how skinny you can't get through the store, you know, aisles because they have them too skinny, and you know, trying to go to the bathroom is a pain in the neck, you know, just things like that. But yeah, I mean, you need space, and so how do you do space here, even if you're being ADA compliant? You know, frankly, I'd like to see that pavilion moved. If we had more space, I don't know who
Yeah,
owns
we
back
don't have
there.
any more land.
No,
Over to the side even?
I believe it's been the last thing I knew, Colleen, you probably know this better than I do. I think that land on that side of us was sold. There was talk about a marijuana processing
Yeah.
plant, which has fallen through. That's not gonna happen anymore. But the land, I think, is sold.
I
can look it up really quick. I'm on the.
Because the other thing is the parking lot resurfacing, repaving of the whole
Well,
parking
we've
lot.
talked about it, so it would be great how for it to loop around, so the bus could pull in and go all the way
Yeah.
around and.
But
stuff.
even straight
When
out.
you get down to the road, you can only make a right-hand turn. That's
Oh,
the
right.
only issue with that.
Yeah, but making that straight out, so you
Yep.
don't have that down like that, so it's a little bit more ADA compliant.
If we get the money to do extensive renovations, the back area where the food shelf is now. Anybody know how tall that space is? I mean, could we actually put another floor in there and
Oh, it's
create,
huge, it's like a,
but I don't mean in terms of.
no,
square feet,
I know, I
but
think
in
it's
height.
really
I think
tall.
I think it's like
Cause
20
it's got
feet
the
or
big
whatever.
garage.
Oh, there you
Between
go.
loft space.
1.1
Like Fairfield.
1.18.
With
acres.
cameras.
Is it for sale?
Yeah.
What?
It's
Or
for
if we had a
sale?
second full-time
Oh,
staff,
no, I'm
that's
just saying,
further.
this is
Yep.
just where the
Oh,
library
1.18.
is in accordance with. No, I don't think anything's for sale around here.
So the lot that's to
Next
the.
to us, that's where they've just started, they broke ground
South of
last
us.
fall.
Oh, the big, right by the highway?
Oh, man,
Yeah.
look at it
Yeah.
go.
They're putting in a,
Wow.
it's going to be, oh, what was it? Storage units.
Right,
And so they just had their wetland study, so they know where the wetlands are now, and there's gonna be enough space to have additional stuffs, whatever they decide on. But they had to do an archaeological study, and oh my gosh, it really is raining.
Yeah.
And something along, they're not endangered birds, but because they're getting rid of the hay, they have to do something
Yeah,
to
For like the
mitigate.
bobolinks.
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
meadow
that's what it
larks
is.
and all.
Mhm. So it's probably years away
Yeah.
still, yeah.
Hmm.
but that goes all the way up to about in here.
Yeah, looks like it.
If you drive out this way, you're gonna see where the
There is
old
one-
driveway did curve around.
There's a property.
No,
in
that's a
between.
road to nowhere.
So
that's
that's the
what the-
property and this, oops, this is library, so there is one property in between.
Right. Oh, one in between.
I
Yeah.
think that the state started building that road and it only goes a little distance straight back.
Right.
But there has been conversation about connecting it with
Right.
this. It's more complicated than you would think it is.
No,
Yeah.
just getting access onto Route 7 would be hard.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Again, because you got the lane down there that divides out.
And yet, the bus stops in front of the library and the kids cross traffic to come up to the library to wait
Yeah.
in the afternoon.
It's also really dangerous walking up that hill in the ice and the snow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, they're young and spry and they bounce back, but
Well, that would.
sometimes
I'm
they
sorry.
bounce up.
Sometimes they do bounce.
Sometimes they hit their heads in just the right way. Like, I've fallen down that hill before.
Yeah.
so,
Really?
Yeah.
It's been harder making it.
I mean, that would be another reason to
be even
complete this
steeper.
turnaround, because I think the buses are coming north from like South Burlington,
Right,
said,
right.
and Essex and Colchester. So they're gonna turn around, they're gonna head that way. So that would make sense to complete the circle, let them turn right.
And it is zooey here in the afternoon when parents are waiting for kids.
Cars, the kids.
Kids
the
are
bus.
like, everybody feels this great urgency to be first in line and like crossways across the bottom of the driveway so people can't get in and out. People are
What?
parked along the driveway because they want to be first out and not wait for people. It's just like parked along the sidewalk instead of just park and wait and you will get there. So, and it's concerning for people who want to use the library, right? And, or who need the handicap spot.
Right.
It's just,
Cause you need more than one handicap spot too.
and it needs to be on the same side as
That's the
the
entrance.
entrance.
It's fun. But,
Well, we're at 5:30. Does anybody else have any other wishes and wants?
This was nice
Yeah.
to do that. I like having those conversations.
Oh,
Next meeting and they.
Oh, yeah, we should probably do that.
one thing I just thought of, and this is take it or leave it, because they're popping up everywhere, but the little free libraries, I don't know if that's ever been a library land, little free library.
Well, they have one down at,
They have one there.
Yeah.
I'd rather have them
people
come
come
in
in,
and
come
check
in.
out a book.
Did the Girl Scouts ever find a location for the one that they
I
made?
think they're gonna put it over at the Jimmy Center.
Oh, is it?
The last
Okay.
thing I've heard, but I
Okay.
don't know that officially. That was
Gotcha,
just
cause
something.
I knew
that
they
I've
were trying to
heard.
find a home for.
Yeah.
all right, when do we want to have another meeting?
So we're looking at August, huh?
Well, I would prefer to do it earlier in August rather than later. There's an outside chance that I'll be going across the pond.
Well, we've got the capital meeting on the 7th, so. Should we do the 15th by any chance? That's the
Yeah.
week I'm out, but that's
Oh.
okay if you have a quorum.
I'm okay
I mean,
on
I'm
the
good on
15th,
the
just put it on the table.
Is that too late in the month for you, Bridget?
Mm-mm.
15?
No, that's great.
Yeah, works for me.
4?
Sure.
And I don't know if you say no, I certainly respect that. You can get, it's a Zoom meeting, so you could participate if you wanted. If you wanted, I don't know, you're gonna be on vacation. If you want to get away, be by yourself and come to the board meeting instead.
And you're going.
Right.
Could I just pretend? No, I get to be with my granddaughter more.
Oh,
That
there
can
you
be
go.
fun.
Okay.
Nice.
My granddaughter, my
Definitely more
grandson.
fun.
Yes.
All right. But, okay, so I won't be there, but I will look for the minutes and the
And
notes
whatever.
and stuff,
Oh,
and
and
if
then-
anybody needs to send anything to me, you still can.
All of the,
4 o'clock again?
all of them are recorded now, so they'll be
Yeah.
on the website. In order, the
That
town
might be, that
website,
might be my 10 o'clock at night, look at
their
it. then.
video, yes.
Yeah.
Probably sleeps the
Bedtime-
sound of
bedtime
everybody's beautiful
video.
voices.
Hey, you can read the minutes to your granddaughter.
Your
Bedtime
bedtime
reading.
story.
Do I have, what, here, anyone? To adjourn the meeting?
Oh, I will.
Great.
I propose that we adjourn the meeting.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Good meeting.
Thank you all.
That was a good meeting.
Thank you.
And now for the royal dancer.
Aw.
Yeah. Come in and be soaked coming in.
Did they have to RSVP or is it just whoever shows up? shows
Yeah,
up?
people did sign up for it, so yeah.
So you know,
Do you remember, Jeremy?
I'm not sure.
I feel like
Usually
it's,
there's quite a few.
yeah,
like,
10
for
or
these sorts of things, like 10, 12.
10,
like
12.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So
And that's
Cute.
not including the people that don't RSVP at all.
Yeah,
to
just show up,
and so
yeah.
that's gonna-
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, so we shall see.
Wow, that's great.
So you said the
Um,
15th, you were doing the next one. That's
On
a
a
Thursday.
Yeah.
So you're switching times and days again. So we're not staying at one time. Right? Switch it up. Okay. Just check. Keep it new.